The transport ship drifted through the quiet stretch of space, known as the Silver Route. Among the passengers was a human named Rian, who served as a field technician for peacekeeping missions. He had been assigned to escort a research group across territories recently opened for travel. The agreement between species was still new, and both sides maintained a cautious hope that old tensions would fade with time. Rian was known for his calm nature and willingness to help anyone near him. He did not speak much, but his actions often carried more weight than long explanations ever could. The crew trusted him with duties that required patience and clarity. He enjoyed the steady rhythm of his work, believing that peace was built through small steps repeated daily. On board, the ship was also a small alien child named Lyra, who belonged to a species that humans once considered their rivals. Her mother served as a diplomat and was scheduled to meet her at the next station. Lyra had traveled ahead under the care of a trade delegation, who requested that she be escorted safely through neutral space. The child was quiet, observant, and always kept close to her caretaker. A gentle older attendant named Breck. Rian first noticed Lyra when she curiously peeked around a corner to watch him repair a panel near the cargo section. She watched the sparks of the welding tool with wide interest, though she remained cautious. He offered a small wave, and she slowly waved back before scurrying to Breck's side. The ship continued on its peaceful route until an unexpected tremor shook its hull. Lights flickered for several seconds before stabilizing again. The captain reported that the disturbance came from a sudden shift in a nearby gravitational point. The passengers were advised to remain calm. Rian checked the ship's status screens and confirmed that all major systems were functioning. Even so, he walked the halls to reassure travelers that everything was fine. Moments later, another tremor struck. This one was stronger. It caused loose crates to rattle and several passengers to grip the nearest seats. Rian steadied himself and hurried toward the cargo bay where he knew Lyra and Breck had been earlier. He heard a soft cry echo along the hallway, and his instincts carried him toward the sound. When he entered the bay, he saw that several storage crates had toppled during the tremor. Breck was at the far side, trying to pull a crate away from Lyra, who had fallen near a support beam. The crate had blocked the path between them. The lights flickered again, and the ship lurched, causing another crate to slide dangerously close to the child. Without hesitation, Rian rushed forward. He pushed himself between the moving crate and Lyra. The crate struck his side, forcing him down to one knee, but he held it back with his body. The ship steadied long enough for him to shove the crate aside and pull Lyra safely into his arms. Breck reached them moments later and helped steady the child as Rian caught his breath. Lyra looked at him with a mixture of shock and gratitude. Her small hands clung to his sleeve until she was sure the danger had passed. Rian smiled softly and told her she was safe. She nodded and stayed close while Breck examined her for injuries. The crew later confirmed that the disturbance came from a natural pocket of unstable gravity and that the ship was out of danger. The passengers gradually returned to their routine, but word of what happened spread quickly. Many spoke of how Rian had shielded the alien child without a second thought. Others remarked on how such acts were exactly what the peace agreement was built upon. Rian did not seek attention, and he only said that he had done what anyone should do. When the ship docked at the next station, Lyra's mother, a respected diplomat named Raloom, waited with a delegation. She had been uneasy during the ship's delay and feared that something might have happened to her daughter. She hurried forward when she saw Lyra step out holding Breck's hand. The child ran into her arms, and Raloom embraced her closely. When she noticed Rian standing nearby, she approached him with a calm but focused gaze. Breck explained everything that had happened. Lyra added her own small recount, reaching toward Rian as if wanting her mother to understand how he had protected her. Raloom studied him for several moments. before giving a respectful bow. She thanked him with sincere words that carried clear emotion. She said that her species remembered every act of goodwill, and that his decision to protect her daughter had created a bond that stood beyond old divisions. Rian felt humbled and assured her that he was glad Lyra was safe. Raloon requested that he accompany her delegation to the diplomatic quarter for a formal expression of gratitude. Though he hesitated, the captain encouraged him to accept. He agreed and followed them through the spacious corridors of the station, observing the blend of cultures that now walked side by side. Inside the diplomatic hall, Raloon spoke with senior envoys. She explained that Rian had shielded her daughter with no concern for the past tensions between their species. The envoys listened with interest. Some nodded with approval, while others seemed surprised that a human technician would risk himself so freely. Rian simply stated that he had done what felt right. The envoys decided that his action deserved acknowledgement. They presented him with a small emblem shaped like a rising star. It symbolized hope between species that once viewed each other with fear. Rian accepted it with quiet appreciation. He felt honored yet slightly overwhelmed by the attention. After the ceremony, Lyra tugged gently at his sleeve. She held up a small charm made of woven threads that she had kept for moments of comfort. She wanted him to have it. Rian knelt and thanked her before securing it to the pocket of his uniform. Raloon watched the exchange and understood that her daughter had formed a deep trust in him. In the days that followed, Raloon requested to meet Rian several times. She wished to understand more about the human who had placed himself in harm's way to protect someone not of his own kind. They spoke about their cultures, their hopes for the peace agreement, and the challenges that still remained. Rian appreciated her thoughtful nature and her steady commitment to diplomacy. At one meeting, Raloon said that Lyra would not stop asking when she would see him again. She explained that her daughter had always been shy around strangers, but had grown fond of him after what happened. She asked if Rian would be willing to remain in contact and perhaps accompany future diplomatic journeys where Lyra would be present. He agreed, feeling it was the right thing to do. As weeks passed, Rian became a familiar figure within the diplomatic circle. He often joined delegations as a safety officer and technical advisor. Raloon grew to trust him not only because of his calm nature, but also because of his genuine respect for all around him. Lyra saw him as a protective presence and often stayed near him during long travels. Their bond strengthened during a visit to a neutral world known for its peaceful gardens. Lyra wandered too close to a reflective pool that shifted with gentle waves. She lost her balance, but Rian caught her arm before she slipped. She giggled in relief and clung to him. Raloon observed the moment with a thoughtful expression. She saw how naturally he protected her daughter and how warmly Lyra responded to him. Later that evening, Raloon approached Rian during a quiet walk through the garden. She asked if he understood what his actions meant in her culture. Rian admitted he did not fully know. She explained that protecting a child, especially at great risk, carried a meaning deeper than simple duty. It signaled a bond that some considered almost family in nature. Rian listened with respect. He assured her that he held nothing but kindness toward Lyra and wished only for her safety and happiness. Raloon appreciated his sincerity. Yet she hesitated before speaking further. She said that her people believed in honoring such bonds. She also said she had felt a growing sense of trust and admiration toward him. Her words were calm, but carried weight. Rian took a moment to understand what she was expressing. While her species had different customs, the sentiment behind them felt familiar. It was a gesture of connection. Rian explained that he cared for Lyra and respected Raloon deeply, but he wanted to be sure that any step they took was made with clarity. Raloon agreed. She valued patience and wished to build understanding gradually. They continued their conversations over the following weeks. Rian learned more about the traditions of her people, and Raloon learn more about the human approach to trust and companionship. One day, Lyra presented Rian with a small drawing. It showed 3 figures holding hands beneath a sky filled with stars. The simple lines carried a hopeful message. Raloon saw the drawing and smiled gently. She said that sometimes children understood connections before adults found the courage to acknowledge them. Rian kept the drawing carefully. He realized that Lyra saw him as part of her safe world. That thought carried warmth and a sense of purpose. Raloon later asked if he would consider joining their diplomatic mission on a long-term basis. She said that his presence brought comfort to Lyra and stability to the delegation. Rian accepted, recognizing that the role felt right to him. As time passed, the 3 of them traveled through many regions. They met leaders, mediated discussions, and helped build bridges between cultures. Through each journey, Rian's bond with Lyra grew deeper, and his understanding of Raloon's people expanded. Raloon herself became a trusted companion. Their conversations shifted from formal topics to personal ones. They spoke about hopes, dreams, and the kind of future